It's Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Lange. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What a peaceful Lagos morning.
Oh, it was really peaceful coming to work.
Yes, there's hardly any vehicle on the road.
Everybody's over their house waiting.
Yes. I got my books. So I ordered this 50 books for only 10,000 naira.
Are you serious? How is that possible?
So there's this organization. I don't want to do advert for them, but there's this organization that they help get books to people at a very affordable price, and you're able to get 50 books for 10,000, 100 books for 20,000.
Really?
They get the books from abroad, and it's like a way for the organization to make sure that people get books, really good quality books. Hardcover, really good authors as well. Non-fiction for adults, for children, and I'm so excited. I really love books, so
yeah,
I do. I think it makes me really excited.
Right. Yeah. I've been binging on a lot of biographies lately, and I'm actually reading two right now. I like to learn about Nigerians who have done great things, and also foreigners. So I read a few of Bill Carson. I'm reading Professor Akinkugbe right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I have a few more lined up, but it's really, really interesting to see what people have gone through, because one of the reasons why today many of us are totally oblivious of what happens, because you don't have a clue what happened. You know, so sometimes you just go read what happened and have an idea what brought us here, where we were, and who struggled through the whole process to get us where we are, to help us in making in future.
That is so important, because sometimes you'll be arguing so vehemently on something that is not fact. But all you had to do was just flip through the pages of a book to realize that you have been just saying nonsense.
Right. I do more personal development books, but I was telling her this Monday I want to rekindle my love for novels. I used to love novels. You know, but I'm going to try and start doing novels. So I'll just have a way, I'll try and schedule it. So I do one personal development, I do one novel. So I don't, because I can actually get lost in things that I enjoy.
Novels are really, I'm just thinking about it. You know, it's fiction,
novel.
They now create the stories,
soft, hardcore, whatever. You know, but I'm having a
because I was reading. That's the thing with me. Once I get on the book, I have to finish it.
Yes,
everything else stops.
How are you doing? I'm enjoying myself, styling my hair.
Yes, I feel be proud of you.
Yeah, honestly, she came yesterday telling me that, okay, can I help you style your hair? I said, don't worry, ma, I've already sorted it out. I'm enjoying it, and I'm doing it with the help of my daughter, just getting her hands around it just to see, because I'll just wait for a bit.
Which of the daughters?
My elder daughter. wait for a bit, and then I will cover it again and all that. And people have been asking me, what happened to your edges? Now, so God creates me. I actually have a long forehead, so it seems like my hair goes to the back. But where it starts, where it full. So nobody should stress me. That's how I've been created. I've been like this since I was a baby. So
I'm thinking that you have hair.
Exactly.
I'm worrying about my edges. It's looking like your edges are falling. My edges are not falling. Now so the hair comes.
I know my beautiful hair. I don't have edges. Forget it. Even talk about hair, I don't even join the conversation, because I'm not even, when God was sharing hair, I don't know where I went. So I was not around at all. So I don't even discuss hair. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
But tomorrow,
I'm happy that everything is really calm. I'm happy that, you know, we went food shopping yesterday. Again, I did shopping on Saturday.
Okay.
I spent a lot of money. Now, that's a feedback within 5 days. They told me that's finished.
Yeah.
Pepper has finished.
Normal.
Now I went to market again. I'm like, we can't keep doing this now. I mean, we can't. I mean, it's just
that's the disadvantage of bulk purchase,
right? Because it's there. They're making fish sauce. They're making chicken sauce.
At the same time.
Sardine sauce.
I
haven't eaten it. I haven't eaten it. I can't remember when I go there. They're having a great time. Now the kids are on holiday, but they I'm saying they just. I'm like, come on, man, you can't keep doing this.
My husband just sent me a message this morning that I've gone to look for Gary and Jig for you people. My help, I've been using him now. They sent him because he helped us get bread yesterday when he was coming back. So they have given him a list. I'm looking for Gary and Jig.
Oh my Lord. My brother sent me a message, shopping list. Give me noodles, sausages, bacon. I'm like, are you okay?
Mushrooms.
I'm like, are you okay? You not call me this morning. How far with my list? Let's see. I see all right. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in Paper Review today, we are bound by law not to discuss political conversations at least 24 hours to the polls. So we'll be discussing non-political political stories on the papers today. So we're going to start with The Nation. And a few stories there. Agro Cargo Airport records maiden flight. Electoral process kicks off with hitches. INEC considers shift of Enugu East senatorial poll. I think that's all the stories we can take. Who has, I had the, which one?
Yeah, I have electoral process kicks off with hitches. So it says, after going through the rigor of online registration for accreditation of reporters for the coverage of the 2023 general elections, media houses in Lagos closed last night without getting accreditation cards for their workers. They're saying that several media houses and state correspondents could not find their accreditation cards in the locations that they chose. And this, in spite of all the assurances that INEC had given them that this exercise will be smooth. They're saying that the Lagos and West media houses were told yesterday to send their reporters to the Commission's office in the state for manual accreditation. And INEC is saying that they would, they are aware of the complaints and they would do everything. They promised to look into the situation and it would be sorted. So these accreditation cards, this is what would allow them to go to all the different places to be able to report. And if you don't have those cards, they can't do that. They need that.
All right, so the Gateway Agro Cargo Airport, that's along the Ikeru-Ileshan Road in Ikenne, recorded its very first successful maiden commercial flight. Takwabiana, the governor of the state, was saying yesterday that it marked the actualization of the dream by former Governor Gbenga Daniel, adding that these developments aligned with his administration's plan to make their conducive atmosphere for industries to birth, not to only birth in Apapa, but to also use their own ports. So they're also going to be having dry ports. There's one, there's a Kajala in Ogun Central, and there's going to be, and there's another one, Olokola Port, which is also being worked on. And these are all births, ideas birthed by the former governor, Gbenga Daniel, which he's now bringing to bear. So it's a congratulations to the state of Ogun. I'm happy that hopefully now, according to them, once this goes off, it will decongest the Apapa Port and help to also ease business between the eastern region and the northern regions towards the southwest, which is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. Less cars, less of those containers on the road. And
I have two short stories in The Nation. I took my stories from inside. So 15 passengers were yesterday confirmed killed in an auto crash at Nabodo village in Toro local government area of Bauchi State. The chairman or the sector commander of the FRSC confirmed the accident, and it says that it involved one articulated vehicle and a Toyota Hiace bus. According to him, he said 7 other persons were seriously injured in the accident, which occurred about 3 p.m. And he blamed the crash on a loss of control, speed violation, and dangerous driving. He said 22 persons were involved in the road crash. There were 18 male adults, 2 female adults, 1 female child, and 1 male child. 15 of the people, 12 male adults, 1 female adult, and 2 children lost their lives on the spot. That's a very huge one. And 7 others, 6 male adults and 1 female adult, sustained various injuries, and they've been taken to the Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi for treatment. He went ahead to give advice on how they can, drive safely. Now, secondly, banks announced early closure today. Deposit money banks are announcing early closure. Most of them are closing around 12, so that 12 to 1 p.m. so that people can get ready for the elections, but they are saying that we should not be worried. Other outlets for transactions are open, so we can still do our online transactions. And
Right.
ATMs. No,
Pre-election violence, military, others begin raids on hoodlums' hideouts. FG shortlists firms to audit typos assets. Lagos motorists groan over multiple levies. Polls be peaceful, Biden urges Nigerians. 82.2 million PVCs collected, Lagos, Kano, Kaduna top the list. Alleged crime, how Finnish police grilled, released pro-Biafran agitator Ekpa. Okay, let me start with Joe Biden. Joe Biden was congratulating all the candidates yesterday that they signed a peace deal in Abuja, and they also accepted that they would accept whatever, whoever becomes the winner, they'll concede to the decision. He said he commends yesterday's peace accord, and also he has told Nigerians to be patient and be peaceful while electing the officers, and they should also ensure that they count their votes. He also said that he's happy that the political candidates and the candidates running have come together and they've been mature enough to come together to sign this peace accord. He said elections are a fundamental part of functioning democracy, and all Nigerians deserve this chance to choose their future and freely and fairly leader. He's also saying that they, as America, did not choose, and they have absolutely no preferred candidate, but they're only asking that we have a free and fair election so that whoever becomes president is based on the people's choice and not by manipulation.
Yes, so I have INEC on Thursday released the number of collected and uncollected PVCs ahead of the coming election. A total of 87,209,207 PVCs were collected, with 6,259,229 uncollected as of February 5th. This contained a document that was released by the INEC chairman, of course, and then they gave a breakdown per state of the PVCs that were collected, and the top for the states is Lagos, Kano, and Kaduna, and for the list is Ekiti State. Ekiti State got 958,052 PVCs have been collected.
That's a good turnout, because it's about just a little over 6 million people did not pick up their PVCs. I mean, from 90-something million, I mean, that's huge. So we got almost, that's a huge success. So I'm hoping that people do come out and vote. Any other story in Punch? Let's move on.
So commercial transport workers in parts of Lagos State are lamenting that despite the strike action organized by motorists under the aegis of the Joint Drivers Welfare Association in November 2022, the situation has remained the same, and they still pay multiple levies to members of the Lagos State Parks and Garage Management. The Punch, did a report and said that GDWAN, that's their association, had embarked on 7-day strike over allegations of multiple taxation. And afterwards, after 7 days, they had to call off the strike, thinking that by now the government would have waded into the matter to help them solve it. But most of the drivers kept, complaining. A driver who plies Ushodi and Songo routes, Adewale Olufemi, said that he still pays close to 10 to 15 levies, and at some bus stops, he pays as much as 200 naira. And they found out that at the end of the day, they have to transfer all the levy payments to the passengers who are still groaning that they do not have enough to pay for transportation. So the government needs to do something about this.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I know I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
What's your age?
I was close now.
Eh?
I said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75.
I confirm.
Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Security agents take over polls results collation center. EPA, IPOB factional leader arrested, released in Finland. DSS arrest bandits, gun runners recover large cache of weapons. It's illegal to close varsity schools because of elections, says Afe Babalola. Now redesign FG not in breach of Supreme Court, says Malami. And military police others vow to deal with troublemakers. Okay, which story are we starting with?
DSS arrests bandits, gun runners, and recovers large cache of weapons. The DSS said that it has arrested a number of criminals and seized a large cache of lethal weapons from bandits and gunmen operating in different parts of our country. DSS Public Relations Officer Peter Afunaya said that they carried out some of these raids based on proactive and intelligence-led operations conducted across the country. They mentioned so many arrests. There are quite a number of them. I think for time I wouldn't take them specifically, but I will take what he says. He says, as you are aware, the general elections will commence 25th of February, and DSS assures Nigerians of its commitment to peaceful exercise. It pledges its neutrality, professionalism, and good conduct of its personnel to the democratic process. It will continue to discharge its mandate of disseminating timely, actionable, and proactive intelligence necessary for tactical, operational, and strategic decisions even beyond the elections. So just to remind us that they're working hand in hand with INEC to make sure that we have a peaceful and violence-free election.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So, the Central Bank of Nigeria said they are planning to create a new e-Naira ecosystem, and they are asking Nigerians and businesses to adopt the central bank digital currency, that's the CBDC, for transactions and trade. They also revealed that they are currently in talks with more telecommunication companies to help Nigeria key into the USSD adoption. So the coordinator e-Naira CBN, Rakia Mohammed, said this when they were having a meeting with one of their technical partners, Bullnet and Balugu Business Association in Lagos. This happened on Thursday, and he said that they introduced the e-Naira to improve financial inclusion into Nigeria, increase cross-border transactions, diaspora remittances, and complement the nation's payment infrastructure. And they went ahead to say that a lot of people have been quite receptive to the e-Naira platform. And so far, I think it's just MTN and Nine Mobile that have adopted this. They are still in talks with other telecommunications to see how they can adopt that. This will improve us, our economy as a people and our businesses.
Okay, so the elder statesman, founder of Afe Babalola University, Ref Afe Babalola SAN, has condemned the fact that the Federal Ministry of Education and the National Universities Commission allowed for the closure of universities. He was quite miffed about the whole thing. He said that the forced closure of Nigeria's university by the ministry has done irreparable damage to students of the Nigerian universities. Their problems have been worsened by the scarcity of cash from the ATMs, and this has also made transportation very difficult for them. The illegal closure has adversely affected the curriculum, particularly in the private schools. Now, the public schools are even worse off, actually, because they have been on strike for quite a long time. And now you've asked them to close again for a few weeks, not even for a few days. So I was quite miffed about it, and he said that this is totally wrong and it shouldn't have happened. They should have actually considered the VCs to have a conversation and ask them before carrying out this decision. Okay, let's move on now quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Over 87,000 PVCs collected, says INEC. First commercial flight lands in Ogun Cargo Airport. We took that story. We will use maximum force against troublemakers, says security forces. 2 Fiat killed, 6 vehicles burnt as political thugs clash in Kano. U.S. President calls for peaceful, credible poll. 24 hours to elections, hope suspense across Nigeria. Troops arrest Abuja Kaduna train attack mastermind, 2 others in Kaduna. And Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa arrested and released in Finland. Who has any story we've not taken?
I think the Abuja Kaduna train.
Yeah, I took it in Vanguard, but I could.
Let me take another story. I was just curious. So, ahead of Saturday's elections, the armed forces and other security forces on Thursday declared readiness to ensure hitch-free polls as adequate measures have been put in place. There was a joint press conference in Abuja on security forces preparedness, and the acting director, Defense Information Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, spokesperson DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, and the Force Public Relations Officer, FPRO, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, declared that the election will be the most peaceful polls in the annals of the nation's history, as promised by the president. They urge Nigerians of voting age to troop out in large numbers to cast their ballots without any fear of intimidation, with a promise to deploy maximum force against troublemakers in any part of the country. They also reassured the public of military support to police during this election. Anyway, they're just saying, we are waiting for you, guns blazing, don't misbehave.
Try yourself.
And for the regular, normal Nigerians that are coming out to vote, we got your back.
We got you. We like that.
That's street language.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So, Miners Association set to establish solid mineral plants in 6 geopolitical zones. So, the Miners Association on Thursday said it will establish these solid mineral plants in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. According to the acting president of the association, Alhaji Musa Muhammad, he said that they will start the establishment first in Kogi, and saying that there are a good number of mineral resources in the state. They are going to be showing a lot of good examples of leadership with this, as well as support the government to promote the development of the country. So he said the establishment of the plant to also bring investors into the state and create job opportunities for the youth. They will still move this to other states that have mineral resources, but for now they're starting with Kogi. I think it's a good one.
Wait, I have this story. I think it's interesting because it's the police warning politicians against misuse of social media, and I don't think we've heard enough of that. And this is the Nigerian police force in Sokoto State warning politicians to warn their members, and just saying that we must be mindful of how we use social media during this election. We need to remind us all that we don't have any other country apart from this country, and we must do the needful to ensure we protect it, and called on politicians in the state not to relate with rumors, advising them to always relate to security agents on whatever they hear concerning the elections. And I think it's just an important message for all of us during this time, because people would use social media to incite the politics.
Vanguard, let's find a story of not taking troops. Arrest mastermind of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. Sits at home, Simon Ekpa arrested and released by Finnish police. Elections, we are ready to defend democracy at all costs, says CDS Irabo. And Ogun Cargo Airport records maiden flight. So the defense headquarters yesterday said that the troops of the Operation World Punch have arrested 3 terrorists at the Damba Community Chikun local government of Kaduna State. According to the military, these terrorists were the masterminds of the March 28, 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack that left 9 passengers dead. The Major General Musa Damadami, who disclosed the statement yesterday, said that on Valentine's Day, they recovered 2 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones, the sum of $5,000, and other currencies were found with them. They found this. One of them confessed. One of the 3 terrorists that was arrested confessed that he was the mastermind of the March 28th attack. And he also said that the February 16th, troops on fighting patrol made contact with terrorists at the Benin Kajuru local government, and 7 terrorists are also fled. So, I mean, we're happy that the military are also closing in on many of these terrorists, and some of them are being those, especially those that have done some heinous crimes, like 9 who died in the train attack, have been arrested. That's good news for the Nigerian military, and we're grateful for that.
There's a human interest story here. 43-year-old woman identified as Mrs. Akumere Aregbari reportedly died after she was punched by a 38-year-old woman identified as Eniekedo Atabala during an argument over the delayed payment of 350 naira debts owed to her. So according to the story, this woman went to collect her debts from this elderly woman, and then she said she didn't have, and they started exchanging words. But then the woman who was owing went into the room, brought her the 350 naira to give to her, but the other one was very upset and was still insulting her when she landed a punch on the woman who came to collect her gbese, and then she slumped and died. She was taken to the hospital. No, first of all, she slumped and she was taken to the church. So she got there, they were trying to stop the bleeding, it didn't work. They finally took her to the hospital, but it was too late, and then she died. So youths were really upset. They raised down the building of the woman who punched her. The police has picked them up, arrested them, investigations are still ongoing. So when things happen like this, the first point of call is the hospital and not the church. Prayer cannot stop bleeding when we already have things that God has given us as doctors to help stop all these things. Why taking her to the church instead of going straight to the hospital? Her life may have been saved.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. Forgot that today was my brother's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
God bless you. Okay, let's go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll start with our hot topic of the day, which is INEC. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
In an effort to reduce...
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we're supposed to actually have a discussion in preparedness for tomorrow's elections. So we had lined up guests from INEC and EFCC and everybody, just to be sure that everything is going on well. But unfortunately, many of them are very tied up right now because it's just 24 hours to the elections, and many people are doing, it's really difficult to bring in our guests this morning. So because of that, we'll just wait for anyone who is available to talk to us. In the meantime, we'll move on to our regular Friday gisting topic. So I'll let BC establish one of the interesting stories we saw on social media. Go ahead.
Okay, so this person says, I understand how sweet this wearing of hobby things can be, but unfortunately for me, I dare not try it, because the level in which my hobby places values on material things is out of my reasoning. But at the moment, I have finally reached the end of my own strength. I've been married for almost 5 years, not even one day of happiness or one thing that I can remember he did for me except hurting. So not to talk of wearing his own clothes. I'm happy for those that are free in their husbands' houses.
So the conversation is really about how free are you with your spouse, and it's both ways. You know, some people marry into a rich, maybe a rich girl, you know, somebody from a rich family, and you feel intimidated, and every little thing you say, you know, could be misinterpreted or something. So you're constantly walking on eggshells around your family, your wife's family. You feel inferior when you're with them. You know, these are parts of. So it goes both ways. Same thing with some women. They are always careful. Sometimes they marry into wealth also, and they're constantly reminded that they're the ones coming into the wealth. So they're always careful on how they do things. They don't want to, you know, overstep their boundaries. Is that so? The conversation really is, are you experiencing that? Would you like to share your story with us? It's one of the things we like to talk about on our show. You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. As I said earlier, we know many want to talk about elections, but unfortunately, many of our guests are not available right now. Hopefully, before the end of the show, one or two of them will be available, and then we can switch. But in the meantime, we'd like to hear your thoughts on the conversation we just want to start. BC, would you like to start?
Yes. So I've seen a couple of people who are not, in my own perspective, or how I can explain what I've perceived from them, so to speak.
Empirical evidence.
What I see in my front, I just feel like these people are not so free. Maybe the spouse, either the wife is not so free with the husband, because I'll notice how you would talk. In fact, I had a colleague once who would call the husband on the phone after work to sort of ask him what he wants to eat before she gets home, and then while receiving the call, she would be kneeling down. Yes, it was that bad. She would kneel down.
But that's good.
No, it was bad, because later, after a few years, I realized that there was domestic abuse involved. Yeah, but then we didn't know. We just regular, so just been having after school, and then she would, hey, daddy, cookie, daddy, daddy, should I fry fish, daddy, and she's practically kneeling down, like I can feel the fear, and I'm like, okay.
Her husband be that.
I don't understand though, you know. And that also made me think, maybe if the age difference is too much, this is my own opinion, based on what I have seen. If the age, maybe because of the age difference, then you want to put a lot more respect. You won't just be free to hit your husband on the head and, you know, call him some names, and you won't be free because of that age difference. And it sort of made me scared of older people, because I would feel, I beg, if I cannot look at you, I'm just telling you now what I feel. If I cannot look at you,
older man, so tread carefully.
yes, no, I'm telling you now, I'm coming from somewhere. So when you see other people and you see how things change, you're not like, okay, it's not about the age, it's not about this, it's not about that.
Let me jump to Mariam for a second. Because I just realized that the truth is that because your husband is older than you, well older than you, did you feel that need to be very respectful in the beginning, you know, be careful what you say, how you say it, especially with his peers also, when he's his friends? Because if you're a Yoruba girl now, you're likely to call his friends Uncle this, Daddy this, or Mr. D. You're really careful not to disrespect them. But how did you feel that sense of getting into him and, you know, being just free with him.
It's him now. He came and toasted the babe. How would he? Did he expect me to greet him, sir? And no, that didn't happen. I think that's even the easiest. But you brought up something important, which is his friends. You know, they're not dating me. They're not married to me. Of course, I'll give them the respect that is accorded them, their age, their status, and I do that. But I remember one time in the beginning when I would want to call someone maybe Mr. or Uncle, he'd be like, no, it's not your uncle. Please don't call him Mr. that, you know. So that was sorted. I think my husband is a bad example for this sort of conversation because we're very... Let me put it this way. So when I dated before my husband, the kind of people I dated were, you know, if they were young, but they were quite mature for their age. Okay. My husband was the opposite, which is he's older, but he's quite youthful and quite playful. Yes. So I feel that I've always sort of, even if there's different age, it was still the same sort of thing where I'm looking for someone who does not take themselves too seriously. And my husband is that way. So it's not about age really, but it's about how you carry yourself and what you perceive to be the way that you should relate with your spouse. Because I have seen people who are even younger, much younger, who still relate to each other that way. I've seen men who are young men and they demand, the ego is... So much respect. I'm like, what's happening here? The ego is like this. I am, and they do not have it. I mean, I'm talking of people that you would know before they got married, who seem easygoing, and then the moment they get married, they're like, but I am the man of the house, but I am the husband in this house. And you're like, what is happening here? How did you get to this point? And if you look at it, usually it's maybe what they saw growing up, that okay, maybe from their own families, their own parents, that's how they related. You know, the man is supposed to be the beginning and the end of any conversation that happens in this house or any decision that is taken in this house. And so it's somehow forced. But also I feel that in marriages like that, there's no friendship. Because how do you insist on being so egotistic in a loving relationship?
Let's come back to this lady here, because what she was saying is the fact that she's unable to be free enough to wear her husband's boxers or clothes. You know how you can just take your husband's shirt and just put it on? That, first of all, he's too consumed with fashion, obviously. The man is very, very consumed with things, my things. So that could suggest high-end marrying somebody who is possible, or somebody who just likes fashion.
Yeah. Like it may still not be Mariah. Some people are quite difficult to deal with. Yeah, it has nothing to do with, they may even come from the poorest of homes, but because of their inclination to material things, this is mine, don't talk. So yesterday, for instance, I wanted to, we're going for tennis. I and my husband, we play twice a week, and I'd run out of my tennis skirt. So I just looked and picked his own shorts, and I'm like, brother, can I wear your shirt? And he said, okay, you can have it. And then he went to look for something else to wear. So I wore his own complete gear yesterday to play the game while he looked for something else. This woman is saying it's not possible. It cannot happen. So it could also be that this person just feels, you're a woman, I'm a man. My things should be sacred. No, but like my kids wear my husband's outfits. Like he tells me he doesn't have anything in that house. He's the one renting the house. You know, my son will just go into the wardrobe and he's the same size with his dad. So he wears that shirt. He will pick boxers. I'm always fighting. I can't differentiate whose boxers is this anymore, you know, in the house because of how free he is. But some other guys will look at him and say, what is wrong with you? Your things should be sacred. Your wife should be able to keep your things sacred and no, just separate yourself. You are the man. You should have, they should respect. But he feels this is me bonding on different levels with my family members, you know.
That particular story, going back to that particular story, for me there are two parts. The first part came across as funny to me until I read the second part, which is this is someone that is hurt and she says this person hasn't treated her well in the 5 years. But if we were to look at just the first part, I would have said, you know, there are different kinds of people. I don't know if it's called it difficult, but there's just different kinds of people. There are different kinds of, you know, things that works for them. Like me, I've heard my friend talk about sharing toothbrush with her husband. I'm like, no, never. Exactly, or sharing boxers. I'm like, But I understand to wear a shirt. The other shirt, the shirt I wore on Wednesday was my husband's shirt. I looked at him, I was like, looks better on you. I said, I know, I told you. So there are some things that will be normal for me, but there are some, I won't go as far as other things. Then there's another one I feel is important, and this is because I had it a lot growing up in my own house, which is my mom would say to me, don't wear your parents' stuff. There should be respect. So for me, I understood that. But I have children that will wear my slippers because I have a son that believes that he wears the same shoe size as I do. But it's something I keep. I make it a serious issue in my house. You don't wear your parents' things. You must show that respect. My husband will say to me that when his father was alive, he had a special chair, a special dish, a special cup, and nobody dared to sit on that seat. But he's so disrespected in his own home. People sit anywhere on any chair. They don't realize that when he enters, that someone should get up for him and sit on a particular chair. So we don't have that. But I think different levels. So in this case, it's quite playful. But in her own case, it seems like a serious problem.
Back to what she was saying, because she was saying that happiness, not even for the first 5 years, not even one day of happiness. One thing I can remember that he did for me without hurt. So this is somebody who is enduring a marriage. So the conversation now is, I would like us to go to is, a lot of women are enduring, and it's because they don't want a broken home. They don't even want to be one of the numbers of, the statistics that this amount of women are this, they left their husband, whatever. So they're being very careful just to endure. They're managing the enduring situation, hoping that at some point, maybe a light bulb effect to happen and he changes over, or something happens that causes some wait for children to come, bring a bond. Others wait for a great job to come. Maybe if he gets a better job, he'll be happier. Maybe if we relocate to Canada, to America, things will be better. They find out one thing that will make things better. So let me come to you, BC. Do you think somebody who is very unhappy, the first 5 years of being very unhappy, do they have any chance to make it better, or should they start thinking of leaving? Is it too early to think of exiting, do you think?
So I've heard stories where the first 5 to 10 years were hell for some people, but they stayed through. And after 12, 15, 20 years, it became better. They will say the man now finally came to his senses. They were willing to wait that out and see how this man changes. So that depends on who you are as a person. That depends on what your priorities are. That depends on how you would enjoy your suffering in hopes for a better tomorrow. Not everybody has that capacity. And not everybody should have that capacity. So you need to check yourself and ask yourself, which capacity do I have? When I was getting into marriage, I told myself, I am not here to carry a cross as husband. The cross that I want to carry is the cross the world will give to me, and two of us together will face the world. It's me and you against the world. That's what I'm here for. But you giving me cross inside the house, I will not take it. I had stories of, mothers telling me what they went through. In fact, family members, they will say, but that's how it is. So even that time, we do this, we do that. I will just bear, that's marriage. I told myself, it's not for me. I do not have the capacity to finish one burden that I've just gone through, that God has just saved me, and enter another one, okay? So depending on your capacity, for some people, what you call suffering is not suffering to them. And if you are really suffering and you've had it up to here, nobody will advise you on what to do. You know what to do, so do it.
Let me take this call. I've been holding for a while. Good morning, are you there? Joke?
Good morning. Good morning, lady.
Hello, Joke, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. My own advice is that either you're a man or a woman, you should marry your friend, whom you will be free together. Because when one is a Ogam, one is a Omodo, I don't think it's good like that. Thank you.
Thank you. So she's advocating that you marry somebody who you're close friends with. But we found that friends marry together, and once they enter that marriage,
it changes.
The ball game changes. So you both of you are buddies before marriage. You do things together. But once you enter, there's something that just reminds the man that, okay, he's in charge. And that this friendship thing must begin to have levels. Because yes, I can be a friend, but let us change the level. Respect yourself. Because especially when they start seeing all their friends being respected, or they go out and people expect it of them, and the gate man is opening doors, it's you he sees, not seeing your wife. You know, society reinforces it in different ways. So you know, remind you, I am in charge in this relationship. So that's your buddy, don't buddy here.
You're right, but there's also another thing that happens, and I see that quite a lot. If in a group of friends or family, you're the first to do something, everybody has an opinion on how you should do it. They've not gotten there yet. Ha! You mean you wash plates and your wife is not? This person that's not married yet. You mean you take care of baby, you change diapers? Me, it can never happen in my house. When I get married, this is what I... And when you usually are the first in a group, you're thinking, oh, I'm doing this wrong. These people must be right. Then, what will now happen to you? When they now get married, you now do it differently. You're now wondering, like, see what I put this man to, or this is what I put this man to. Meanwhile, and then they would now justify it and say, we did not know them, but now we know better. So,
let me cut it.
Okay, we're going on.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Omo fela. Omo anikula pokuti. Oro pe kini kekere yi.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, The pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing our conversation concerning how comfortable are you with your spouse. As I said earlier, we're supposed to be discussing preparation towards the elections, and once our guests come in, we'll definitely switch over. We're waiting for one more guest to come in. So going back to this issue of preparedness, you were saying something before the break. Okay, now let's take the angle of the fact that what society does. You know, so this woman right now, I want us to go back to this woman's issue. She was just complaining that I can't even wear clothes. So she's almost, I don't want to say trivializing it, but she's bringing it down to the basics. I can't even wear his clothes. And that women like that, the food you eat, the plates you use, people complain. The fact that they are nagging you in the house because they want you to, they're forcing that respect, that you must respect me. You know, they're insisting on it. A woman like that, what do you do? How do you seek for help? Do you do counseling? Or what do you do to get to the point where you are free? So yes, it was tough coming into this marriage. Maybe the circumstances where you came in was not friendly like maybe others. But now, how do you get to a point where things are softer and you can now become best friends with him?
So in fairness to a lot of men, some of them do not even know what they are doing, in the sense that it was what was modeled to them, what they saw their fathers do, their grandfathers, their uncles. And so in their mind, this is how I am to be if I have to be a man and have my authority respected in the house. And so they carry on like that. You say we are usually...
Let me pause you for a second.
Yeah.
We also saw our mothers being very respectful, accepting and submissive.
Yes.
But we have somewhat modified it.
Yes.
Yeah, we still submit, but we are also finding our confidence.
Yes. So let me tell you the difference. Women, because this is biology now and hormonally, we are more prone to change than men. Men usually, you will see a man who is this way, come back in 10 years, he hasn't really changed. Even if he changes just a bit, because they are more stable in their biology than we are. Anything can change us. Our hormones can change us. Our period can change us. We are the ones that are usually running from pillar to post to seek for solutions when things happen. We are the ones that will gather in church to pray for the household. We are the ones that will go for seminars to learn how to satisfy our men. How many men do you see run like that to get those things that will change? How many men do you even see sit down and pick up a book to read? How many men have been noticing it? Most of the time is women I see that are more open to learning, and they would even tell you, the spiritual people will tell you that women are even more connected and closer when it comes to. So
let me take Esther, I'll come back to you. Okay. Esther, are you there? He's been holding for a minute. Esther from Ikoyi, you're live.
Yeah. Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning. I want to contribute to the topic.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, like the first caller mentioned, that women need to marry their friends. Yeah, that's okay. I agree with that. But don't forget that at times when you marry your friend, along the line, that friend will change while you're in the marriage. But I think what the women need to do is that they are the ones that need to change. They need to see how they can make that marriage to be a happy one. You understand? They need to adjust themselves. They need to be...
Esther is saying the burden is on the women to adjust themselves and change. We get that a lot. I mean, that's really, I have to, unfortunately, I have to learn the segment because I'm told our guest is on now. But we'll do the conversation. We might have to continue a bit later. But let me go on a break. When we come back, bring in our first guest from the National Youth Corps. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
Not
There's no
disrespect.
judgment.
No, and I
Oh, they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
Resentment from
on
whom?
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Mom, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it, but if I find out,
When they are nice divorcees.
I would just
What
be.
if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira,
You
take
can
10K,
sugar
take
daddy
15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. Yeah. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good person.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just, I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then, would it make a difference where? So like, this person might just say, you people can just be on 3rd Milan Bridge on a bike, and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change? What would change the scenario? For, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were meant to be
like finding your
and then, or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you na dey jog.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit down inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
Just pray. Stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm gonna drive near water.
All of us
you consider.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch...
Thanks for staying with us. As we said earlier, we had to discuss a few other items. So joining us on the show now is a newly appointed Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed. He'll be speaking on Corps members on the level of preparedness for security, welfare, and training logistics for the Corps members. Welcome to the show, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning. I wanted to find out, could you give us an idea, the number of youth service members or Corps members that are involved in this year's coming elections?
Well, once again, good morning. Approximately, we're expecting over 200,000 youth Corps members will participate in this general election so far.
Okay, so of course you understand why we're asking. We have had incidents in the past of violence and how it has affected our children who are coppers, and we're also wondering that this time the number of children, coppers that you'll be using, how safe are they, and what is the logistic plan for their movement?
Well, the scheme have taken every step to ensure that the security of these Corps members are guaranteed. One, you remember when I took over on the 30th of January, I made frantic effort to meet some of the security agencies and INEC as well. I have met, for example, with the Inspector General of Police, the Civil Defense Commander General. I've also met with the Director General of the DSS. We all discuss on the issue of the security of these Corps members participating as ad hoc staff for this general election. And our discussion was very fruitful, and they assured me all steps have been put across to ensure that these Corps members are safe. So the issue of logistics, again, I was with INEC chairman. We also discussed on the issue of the security of these Corps members, the logistics particularly as well, we discussed. He assured me everything being in place, and these Corps members will be taken from their places of residence to the the rack, where they will be taken to their place of duty, and they will be brought back safely as they were taken to such places of their duty. So I think the security and the logistics arrangement for the Corps members on this ad hoc duty is good to go. We're good to go, I think.
Okay.
There's no much problem.
Okay, sir.
About.
Let me ask you, are these Corps members insured in any way in case of any eventuality? Do they have insurance?
Yeah, of course. Unlike what we had in the past, let me tell you that I'm privileged to be around in the National Youth Service Corps as the military assistant to the then Director General. In the MOU in 2011, we don't have something like insurance at that time, but this time around the Corps members are fully assured, and we don't have problem with that one.
All right, so let's give us an idea so that parents are comfortable. The kind of training that core members have undergone on beavers. How prepared are they? Are they very familiar with the machine? And I said logistics of getting there. Remember, right? We're also cash strapped right now. So how is that being handled? And do they have enough money to get to the locations on time? Because we're really worried about them getting there on time. People don't want to get at 8 o'clock and then don't see anybody. So what has been done so far? What kind of training have you done to make sure that these core members are well equipped and ready for tomorrow's elections?
Well, the training of the core members participating in this exercise is the responsibility of the INEC, and INEC have trained them. We are aware they have got they have organized training for them. Those in camp, the latest core members that finished their camp, they have also been trained in the camp. Those who outside the camp, they were given training. And some of our directors, deputy directors, and some of the even state coordinators, all of them were part of this exercise. So they have witnessed the training exercise given to them on how to manipulate and conduct themselves with this bimodal voter accreditation system, the beavers you are talking about. They have been fully trained. On our own side, again, we ensure that we give them a kind of sensitization apart from the training received given to them by INEC. We give them sensitization. If you can remember, yesterday on Thursday, we flagged off sensitization to all core members participating in this exercise across the nation. So I think the core members are fully prepared, and there's no cause for alarm. We don't have much issues to bother about. The issue of logistics is the arrangement of INEC to convey these core members to their places of assignment.
Okay.
And we have been informed that they have made arrangement with NURTW, who are settled with the responsibility of transporting the core member from INEC. And it's not only the core members, all ad hoc staff, all other INEC staff that are participating on this exercise are involved. So it is not like only the core members will be asked to transport themselves on their own. No, INEC is on the top of the situation. They are the one to supervise and ensure these core members are transported to their various places of
Okay, sir. What advice would you likely give to core members who are going to be on duty this weekend?
Well, several advice have been given to them. All I want to add again is just to ensure that the corps should ensure they are apolitical, they are neutral, ensure that whatever training they receive in INEC, they should put in place. They should put it in place as according to the way they are expected to. And again, they should show all form of gratification. Nobody should come and lure them into receiving anything in form of money, food. I've set the time without a number. I've talked to the core members. I've sent messages. I've sent circulars. Nobody should accept any form of gratification. Core members, they have done this as assignment earlier on. They have received commendation in this country and even out of the country, and I expect them to do better than what their predecessors have done before. So I want to add again that please, they should be punctual in whatever thing that they do. They should be polite. They should show sign of politeness and let me see, doctrine in the exercise they are to carry on this.
Okay, so I'd like to know what happens to a core member who's been found to have compromised the integrity of votes or has collected gratification from politicians. What does NYSC do?
The core members, the core members are aware. They are not having immunity over anything. Well, whoever have decided to violate any law or instruction given to the person will be prosecuted. But they are very much aware. So we expect nothing less than doing the best that they can do. And I'm sure the core members will not go astray trying to do something otherwise what is expected of them.
So we know the police is the lead security agency on this elections. However, we also heard that the military would also be supported. How much of support do you know the military is giving the NYSC core members? Would you like to comment on that?
High level support. They have been given even without INEC exercise. The military are always there for the core members. If you look at some of our advices we give to core members, when we say don't travel late, when it is 6 o'clock, branch at any of the army barrack, it is your second home. Once you show your ID card, tell them where you're coming from, you will be accommodated. To buttress this, just last 3 or 4 days, when some of our core members were stranded at the airport in Sokoto, they were to go to Lagos because of weather. They stayed there 3 days. They couldn't leave the airport. When this we get to know about this, we talked to the 8th division there. The garrison commander quickly organized for escort. When we contacted their parents, we organized for escort for them from Sokoto down to Abuja. They slept in Abuja. The next day they were escorted to the airport and they flown down to Lagos. So the military are always there for the core members. We accord them all the respect. We consider the core members, we treat them as officers, in short. So they don't have problem. The military are always there for them.
Yes, we remember when we were serving. You treated us. I thank you so much, Brigadier. What are your final words to these core members that are 200,000 of them?
Well, my final word to them is for them to do all that is expected of them diligently and make the country proud, to make the scheme proud as well. And I call on the citizen as well to give them all the level of cooperation so that they will give their best. Above all, let me use this opportunity to talk on what is trending in the social media. I saw it that the scheme, National Youth Service Corps, are removing core members or stopping core members from going to INEC duties in Imo State. That is not correct. What we say, any place that we consider as flash zone or flash area, we don't send our core members there. And Imo State is not an exception. We are not stopping them from going to such areas, but because we are convinced those areas are flash areas. In the first place, we don't even send core members to serve in such local government. We have about 7 or 6 local governments in Imo State. We don't send our core members there. So we are not stopping them for INEC duties. Even to serve, we don't send them there. Recently, the last camp concluded here, when we send them to Maiduguri, where the camp is situated, we look at it, it wasn't too safe. We don't want to take chances. We have to move them down to Katsina under armed escort to do their orientation camp in Katsina. And after the camp, we provided escort again back to Maiduguri to go and serve. So we don't send core members to flash areas. Wherever we consider as trouble zone, not safe for these core members, we will not send them there. The security of these core members is our concern. So their welfare, their security is guaranteed. So we will not take any chances.
Oh, thank you. That's quite comforting to know. Thank you so much. Every parent would like to hear that. So I'm happy that you're not sending the core members to those flashpoints. We'll be asking INEC, hopefully, who's going to be taking over from the core members who are not going to those hot areas. But thank you very much. We've been speaking with the newly appointed Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Y.D. Hamad. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We're going to break now. When we come back, we'll continue with our next guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person, but then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on 3rd Mainland Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change the scenario for, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your
or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you are just on a run for treadmill.
Or you not a job.
Don't tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person, you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit down inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive near water. You must consider.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still Friday, and we know, as I said, today we're supposed to discuss more of the preparedness towards elections. Most of our guests are quite busy today. We're doing the last-minute checks. We're trying to get at least 1 or 2 more guests before the show ends. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for them, we'll continue with our conversation about this woman who's trying to help. Especially because she feels she's choked in a 5-year-old marriage, and she's already given up. Say, congratulations to those of you that are able to, but she's still here. Yeah. So that goes back to those of us that are enduring. I mean, how much of endurance do you endure in 2022, 2023? Should we still encourage women, or is it okay to allow women to endure if they choose to endure? Why do we condemn those who choose to endure?
So I was trying to answer the question initially. And I said that sometimes, because the men do not know any better, they have picked up what they have seen from either their fathers, forefathers, uncles on how to be a man, and they bring it to the home. And you know, that was when Ina said, what about the women that change? And I explained a whole different reason why women would change faster than men. But the thing I've realized is sometimes women are not happy about something and they will not communicate. So we work based on assumptions. So he should know that I don't like this. He should know that I don't like the way he's speaking to me. He should know that I don't like the way he shouts at me. He should know that I don't like... He should know. Human beings are not wired to know what you are thinking per time. In sociology at the time in school, they told us that the mind is not open to direct apprehension by the observer. It's when I tell you that this action of yours is making me feel this way, that you will sit down and try and get what I'm saying. So I think a lot of women have not mastered the art of communicating in a way that the man understands. So it's not about when you are upset, you say, I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like,
let me point
sit the way it's first.
Let me
land what you are punching now.
You don't land that point. The point you're making is that women don't communicate. Some women don't communicate.
Some.
And I'm
don't know how to.
That there are women who are told, find a nice time when he's in a good mood, when you're in a vacation or he's smiling, and then try to find that time. That's the time you talk about it. And you do that, and the man that is on this page do a 3 full 60, and you get a slap. There are situations like that. So we involve blueprints of nice how to communicate. It doesn't always work for us in Africa because
you still did not let me land this point. Communicating doesn't necessarily mean you have to find a nice time where he's not a god where he has to be very happy for you to bring up some things. There are non-verbal communications. Women just don't have mind to follow through on some things. There are non-verbal communications that we make a man understand that this thing I'm doing, this woman is fed up, without even you saying a word. So you need to learn the kind of communication that works for him. That nice time is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So learn it.
Because there are lots of people
go the extra mile as a woman if you're having some things that displease you in your marriage, to learn how to better communicate that I am not having this anymore. It's either we talk about it or everybody carry their leg.
Okay, let me just respond to that. Because I would say that, in my own opinion and my observation, I would actually say that women are better at non-verbal communication than proper communication. And we have been told, stop with your non-verbal communication. Verbalize it, say it in words, because we cannot guess what you're non-verbalizing. We cannot guess why you're turning your face to the other side or sulking around the house if you're not talking. So that's for me in response to that. But generally, I feel that if you're in a marriage and the other person is not in the marriage to work it out with you, then I'm not sure if you're truly in a marriage. You cannot be the only one suffering in a bad marriage. A bad marriage because both of you have decided something's not working and we want to make it work. If you're the only one that's hurting, if you're the only one that's sad, if you're the only one that's also trying to take the steps to make the marriage better, then I'm sorry you're in that marriage by yourself. It's not a marriage. So when people say, so how long should it take someone to, as long as the other person is showing the same interest and concern for this team or this unity to work, then I think you can say as long as you're both working together to make it work. But if you find that every time you bring up a topic or you try to solve something and the person pushes you aside, then I'll just have the conversation. You know what, it just seems like we're in two different worlds here. What are we doing here?
People are comfortable going through that workout for years. For them, it's more important that I stay in this union, manage this, manage that. I have the strength, I have the heart for it, because you're not just managing this person. There's family angle, there's community, there are children involved, there are extended family. So you're like, you know what, if I'm weighing the options, this my happiness is good, but I can find happiness elsewhere. Let me maintain this struggle for the sake of this thing we have built, so that the children are happy, the family is happy, you know, there is a united front. Some people have that perspective.
And we also have to understand that there are different kinds of marriages. And what I mean is that spouses have different expectations of their marriages. There's some people that my husband not communicating with me or saying anything to me, but I have to worship him and provide for him, is the best kind of marriage for that person. And anything else would seem like too much. So I would not judge that person based on, watching how it's playing out. But we'll say that if whatever type of marriage you find yourself in, are you happy in that marriage? So to say, and I'm saying this because, we're saying some people are doing it for how long they have to wait for their children. For some people, it may not be a problem until you have that conversation. So if you have that conversation and you're not happy, I am the sort of wife that I want to cater to my husband. I want him to, when he comes back from work, I'll do his feet, I lay the table for him and make sure the bed is laid. And then the husband I've married is in the kitchen struggling with me, counting how many meat is inside the pot and whatever. And you find that person is upset and she will complain to someone and says, I don't understand, my husband is counting the number of meat we have inside the pot and trying to outdo me with the cooking.
Right.
And if she's not having that communication with that person and he too is not understanding her, that is where there's a problematic marriage.
Right.
So
let me hold up on that, unfortunately, because I'm told our guest is here, so we have to hold up on this conversation. Like I said, we're going to be going in and out of it based on when we have our guest. But I'm told now we have our guest. Then we're going to quick break. When we come back, we'll take our guest.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power. Ginger.
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ ọmọ fẹlá ọmọ Aníkúlá Pókùtì wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by all this one. It's not by all this one.
Thanks for staying with us. So I told we have the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, Abdul-Rasheed Bawa. He'll be speaking on one of the major issues that has marred election over time, which is vote buying. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. I'm here.
Thank you for joining us this morning. So I read a report yesterday, I believe, where you said that you have started you observe some politicians, putting money aside, no, not money, items not in cash, but in kind to use as vote buying. Could you give us an update on that? How many politicians have you arrested so far?
Well, we have not arrested anybody yet. Of course, it's not an issue. If somebody uses money to buy some of these items, of course, we are worried about the source of the funds. But available intelligence, that we have indicates that a lot of politicians, because of this issue of naira scarcity, have resulted into buying items to be distributed, fabrics and food items and other related issues that items that they can easily distribute. So we are on it. It's an ongoing thing. Intelligence is still being gathered, and Nigerians are being encouraged, to provide us with intel in that regard for us to act accordingly.
Right.
Okay. What I thought initially was to avoid people being unduly influenced. So if there are people, politicians already buying things like rice, wrappers, noodles, and all that, and distributing as a way of getting the people to take the product and then vote for them, is that not a form of vote buying, even if you don't?
It is. I'm not saying that it is not an inducement that can be made through those items. And that is why we raised it. We are the one that raised it, that some politicians are planning to buy votes, not in cash, but in kind. So that is what we are saying, and we're working on that. But you asked whether we have made any arrests, in that regard, and I said no, we are yet to make the arrest. Yes.
Okay, you know that you are the man to talk to right now in this economy. So we've been, about the cash policy and the story about whether it's supposed to, we're doing this because we're trying to stop vote buying, and then going into banks and showing videos of some of these monies that were allegedly being, that cash allegedly being kept away from Nigerians themselves. Could you tell us, with data and real life, how this policy has helped so far with the vote buying?
Well, it has helped in the sense that for now, a lot of politicians that are out there are worried that they don't have, the cash to enable them, utilize not only for vote buying, but for other things also that is associated with their election. So it has helped, drastically. I've had people saying that this is perhaps going to be the least expensive election in the history of elections in this country. So it has helped, tremendously, directly and indirectly. But of course, that the policy was not intended towards, all of these things. Central Bank have made it clear to Nigerians the rationale and the reason behind the policy. But of course, like any human endeavor, any human activity, you will tend to be working towards A, and then of course you will end up solving the problem in B and C as well. So it's working. Just yesterday, we arrested somebody with 30 million naira of the new naira notes. And the question is, where did he get the money? Yes, 30 million naira.
Where did he get the money?
Yesterday.
Oh my goodness! How did he get it?
And where did he get the money? How did he get it?
Yes.
Because with the policy, you are expected to get 100,000 from ATM and 20,000 naira across the counter, in a week. So why did you get 30 million? And luckily, one of the reasons why I said that the policy is helping, now we can easily trace the money through the serial numbers of these new naira notes, because they are new. You understand? Yeah. So we can easily trace. Central Bank, yes, these monies were printed recently. Who did you give this serial number to? Which bank? They will be able to trace back and link up.
Could you confirm?
Compared with these people and then distribute the money, and they have to be brought to the book.
So
we'll ensure that we see it through to the end.
Let's talk about the elections tomorrow. So, do we expect to see members of the EFCC present at every single polling unit, or where do we expect to see them?
No, we don't have the capacity. We have admitted that a long time ago. We don't have the capacity to be in every polling unit.
Okay.
But we are the leading agency in this situation, in this issue, and there are security agencies, all across the polling units. So we are working together with everybody. We are working together with all of them. And of course, this is not an issue about security agencies or about the EFCC. This is an issue about Nigerians themselves. They need to own this. They need to understand that. They need to know that, look, what we are doing, or what they want us to do, is something that is, against the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That, look, you are selling your conscience. You will not be able to ask. In democracy, where citizens cannot be able to ask questions, then it's not democracy. We should be able to challenge, not necessarily to criticize everything, but to ask questions. And so it is not about the EFCC. We need not to be everywhere. And that is why, on all the media almost all the media institutions, we were able to distribute telephone numbers of officers that are leading operations in various states of the federation, where they can key in with us, and then we can, go on to
Mr. Bawa, as a follow-up to what you just said now, if I get to the polling unit tomorrow, and what are the things I should be looking out for to report to EFCC? So what are the things you expect me to see? When I contact EFCC immediately. Did you give us a list of things?
Vote buying.
Vote buying. Define vote buying.
Yeah. It's being done like have you voted before?
Yeah.
If you have been to any polling unit, it will be clear to you. It will be crystal clear to you. If somebody somewhere is buying vote, they normally come to the polling unit, with cash, or they can hide, some 1 or 2 block, from the polling unit to lure voters, and voters will know, information will fly out that so person is by the corner there, and once you reach there, he will be able to tell you what he wants you to do, and then he will be able to share the money with you or share the item with you. So it is going to be very clear, and that is those are the situations where we want Nigerians to contact us for, and to contact any security agency that is nearer to them.
Okay, sir. What advice or what assurance will you give to Nigerians that the EFCC is working for them tomorrow?
What assurance? We have given the assurances. We're a government agency that is being paid. That is our responsibility. Everybody have said it time and time again that the EFCC is effective in whatever thing that we are doing, and that is the assurance. They believe we are Nigerians. We are not aliens. We are not angels that came from heaven. We are Nigerians. We want a better country, and it is our responsibility to do that, and we are determined to do that. And the government has given us all the support for us to do that, and we have done it before. In recent times, of course, you are aware that we were in Ikiti, we were in Oshun, and everybody felt that the EFCC has done something. So that is the assurances that, look, the Nigerians should understand that it is for them and it is for all of us, for the betterment of our dear country. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain for us to build this country going forward.
Okay, just to take you a little away from general elections, we've been hearing orders of your arrest here and there. What's happening? Why is everybody wanting you in prison? Could you explain to us?
Corruption fighting back.
Okay.
There is nothing. It's only 2 instances. People are trying to make an issue out of it. In the first instance, it's an issue that happened since 2018, and we made it clear to the court that, look, we have complied with this. It's an issue of a vehicle. It's an issue of some funds. We have released the vehicle as at that time. The monies were already mopped up, by the government. We need to get it back and paid him. Now, of course, I know that by now you know the history of the case that happened since 2016, and this issue, of course, since 2018. But when you are sitting in an office, the asset and liability of the office, you have to take the burden. On the second issue, you know what the issue is. Somebody that we charge at FCT High Court and then at the Federal High Court here in Abuja, and we are on the verge of arraigning him. A court in Kogi now said that we should bring the suspect to them, and we said, look, we are arraigning this person. And I think there was communication gap, between the lawyers that are handling this and this issue as well. So we went ahead and we arraigned him, and we told the court that you don't have jurisdiction to hear this matter. This is the situation that we have and all of that. But the court, in the wisdom of the court, their discretion, they decided to give the order that they gave, and we have, filed for the stay, and we have appealed it, and very soon we are going to hear the appeal. So as it is, the status quo remains. There is nothing like that. So there is just corruption fighting back. When you are, I know that you know the characters that are all involved and all of it. We are looking at a case involving cumulatively, over 7 billion naira of citizens' funds. That state is one of the poorest states in this country. So if you have that money, you'll be able to do a lot of things on it. So we are just doing our job. Don't be deterred, and we are not deterred here. We are determined to continue to push.
Thank you, sir.
That is one of what do you call it? liabilities that one has to come across.
Okay, let me just ask your final words to politicians, your final words to electorates, final words to the umpire, and to the security operatives that might be complicit in vote buying.
Well, a lot have been said. I think we as citizens of this country know that we are on the verge of making history tomorrow. So it is all by us, going out there to peacefully vote for the candidate of our choice, somebody that has, proven to us that, he can do or she can do, what she promised. And the country is ours. We need not to result into violence. We need not to sell our conscience by the issue of, selling our votes. We should be able to be calm and cast our vote. And of course, Nigeria is going to be all better for it. As I said, our concern is for us to see that Nigerians have elected political office holders with proven integrity, people that can uphold the issues of transparency, accountability, and good governance. And that is what the EFCC wants to see for our dear country, Nigeria. And I know that a lot of Nigerians have prayed. We are going to come out of this thing on top, and there will be peaceful election, God willing. And in the next couple of hours, we are going to know who the president-elect is and who are those that we have elected into the 10th Assembly, God willing.
Thank you very much. We've been speaking with the Executive Chairman of Economic and Financial Crime Commission, Abdul-Rasheed Bawa. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so you've heard from the NYSC, you've heard from EFCC. We're supposed to hear from INEC, but unfortunately, they were quite tied up today, so we couldn't reach them. But either way, next few minutes, just discuss the preparedness for tomorrow's elections. The students in the universities, schools closed. There, many of them are back home. Some of them are en route back home for to be able to participate, because some of these many of these politicians are depending on young people also to vote, because they're hoping that the youth will come out and vote en masse. So I'm happy that they are home, but some parents are not happy, saying that you've already been on strike for so long. There is no reason why they should be home at this time. But either way, they're already home, and I just hope they'll be prepared. The final words as we wrap up this week.
So, personally, I like the fact that they are home. I think everybody should be with family at this time, so that you go out, do your voting, and come back. We can put an eye on you, find out where you are and all that. Is very difficult if you're in a school, especially if the school is away from the main town where your parents are. So it's good that the students are allowed to come home. And for me, it's just a few weeks. The elections is not lasting for 8 months. It's just a few weeks. They'll be able to mark up when they go back to school. Elections are actually supposed to be something very serious. This is the time that the nation will likely change for the better or worse. So it's something that we all should take seriously. Hopefully, when we get to a level in our technology where people can vote from their phones and vote at home, then we may not need to start sending our students back home to be able to participate. But I'm looking forward to the elections. A lot of people are hyped up about it. The young people most especially are hyped up about it.
There are lots of new voters.
Yes,
lots of new voters.
So personally, I am not happy about the students going back home, traveling traveling really far distances to get back home to vote for one day or for one weekend. I wish that there was something that we could have done. I always feel that there's always a creative way to sort out issues. The students have been away from school for so long. They're back now. And, it takes a certain mindset to settle back into school, and they have them just shift back and forth. I understand also the fears, why it has been done, because we have the fear of insecurity that's happened before. But I would like for Nigeria to go forward. We can't keep doing things the same way over and over again. If they are registered voters, we should find a way that we create a polling unit for those who have their PVCs with them and they're able to vote. I just don't like, especially the sad story of some students who are going back home and were found and got into an accident. I just wish we didn't have to do that. But I'm looking forward to the elections tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to a better Nigeria. Whoever wins, better Nigeria for all of us, and violence-free election.
And I would just like to say that tomorrow's elections are important, very important for all of us. And one of the few items I'd like you to take with you, you need your sunglasses. Get what you don't have one today. You need a hat, face cap, where you can get an umbrella. It's good for you. A backpack. You can have your power bank just in case, because you need your phone to record and whatever you see anything. Get all the numbers, the EFCC numbers, the police numbers, the joint, whatever, they're everywhere. Just go online, Google it. Get all the numbers so you have them at your fingertips, and you've actually also saved them on your phone. Today, Friday, try to go to your polling unit now, today, and go and see the place, at least to be sure. So you can measure yourself how long you have to walk to get there. So there are little things you need to do. Go there today, get a bottle of water with you, get a backpack, your water, some snacks. I would also add a foldable chair. You want to get a foldable chair so that you can, because the lines are long, so you can get a foldable chair. Buy one of those things that you can just fold up together. You can sit down in the line. You don't have to stand.
Are we going for camping?
No, it's a camp because you're going to be walking. So I'm getting a foldable chair.
I want one.
Yeah, I'll go and look. I'll get a foldable chair that you can just put on the back. Get your water, get your power bank, get your phones, get your 2 phones, get what else did I say? Your sunglasses, your cars, sunscreen, really important.
So we're going there
and put some snack. And those of you that are barbecuing, please let them make sure the barbecue come quickly. The DJ ready. After you're voting, after you finish voting now, DJ can come out and now all wait. And don't forget, please wait.
We should wait.
Guard your vote. Yes. Don't just vote and waka. Stay. Make sure that you are there. The everything is done. That even you know the result from your polling unit. Please, it's very important because these are the things will be used whenever there are any election tribunals. These are the evidences you will gather. So please make sure you guard your vote and be safe. That's all we can take.
Wear your trainers, please.
Yeah, don't take heels there. Wear your sneakers. It's really important.
I mean,
have a great weekend. By God's special grace, we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.